Three, two, one. Welcome to another free on-page SEO secrets course with me, Josh Bashinsky. As I just mentioned to the folks here on the Zoom call, I'm going to be going through and showing you guys how to do your on-page completely from zero to hero. The complete on-page process for any and all kinds of SEO, from local to global, from porn to not-for-profit, any topic, e-commerce, informational, all of that, doesn't matter. I'll be showing you how to do the on-page process from inception, from conception to inception, from conception to whatever full doneishness, whatever the exception eption sounding rhyming word would be for that. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can ask any questions on the right hand side, and or ask any questions if you're watching it later in the comments below. So let's get started, guys. Before I do that, I'm just going to make sure you guys also have my email address. If you want to email me any SEO questions at all, I'm happy to answer them. Email me. How's your SEO going? How are you doing in 2025? Is it you're finding it easy? You're finding it hard? Send me an email, and I will answer any questions that you might have, and I'd be happy to do so. Okay, so I've been doing SEO. A little bit about me, in case you don't know. My name is Josh Bashinsky. I've been doing SEO for well nigh 30 years now. See the gray in this beard? Since I was a teenager. And it is still as lucrative as it's ever been. SEO is still as alive as ever been. I can prove that to you. If you look in Google Trends and search engine optimization in Google Trends, you'll see the trend line going up. A lot of people are getting realizing it's a great way to make money. It's a great side hustle. It's a great main hustle. What do you call your main hustle? A job, I guess. It's a great job. You could work for yourself at home. There's so many ways of making money with SEO. You can do it for your business, right? That's probably what a lot of you are here for. DIY for your business. And again, all the SEO I'm showing you today is exactly the same whether you're a professional or an amateur. You've got to go through all the steps anyway, and I have a piece of software that is going to save you hundreds of hours doing it and save you thousands of dollars and make you thousands of dollars many, many months faster, compressing the time to do SEO and improving your SEO so that you have a better chance of getting those thousands of dollars. So stay tuned. But did you know that you can do more than just DIY your own SEO? You can get a job doing SEO. You can become an in-house SEO. I've done that. I've done all these jobs I'm about to say, by the way. You could be an SEO consultant. I am currently an SEO consultant. You can do affiliate SEO. I've done affiliate SEO. Some of the most money I've made in SEO was doing affiliate SEO. You can do rank and rent SEO. What is that? Well, that's when you rank a page and then you call the people, like in real estate, lawyers, something like that. You call the people on page 2 who are not getting any traffic and say, hey, I've got 20 free leads. Do you want them? They're going to say yes. They're going to say, what's the catch? I said, the catch is if you can convert these leads, if they're good leads for you, then you can talk about renting this page from me. You know, no pressure. But if you convert them, talk about renting the page, and then you can rent 50 pages out for $1,000 each. You do the math of what that will do for your recurring monthly revenue, without having to do any more work after that. Just have to maintain the site, a little bit. 5 hours of work a week kind of a deal, just maintaining the site, putting new pages up, making sure it's not getting stale, watching the rankings, and boom, there you go. I don't know why more people don't know about this or are taking advantage of it, quite frankly. And then if that doesn't work, you can also do digital real estate. You can sell your website on Flippa. You can be like, look I was making 50 grand a month on this site. How about $500,000 for this website? How about 400,000 for this website? You don't think a website could sell for $500,000? You'd be wrong. Plenty of websites have sold for that. I have a student in my mastermind group, Underground SEO University, which is where all the theory comes from that you're going to see today. That's scientifically proven to help you boost. And remember, keep watching, keep listening, guys, because by the end of this, I have a raffle for those people who replied yes, who are internal to the Zoom call. And they're going to get a special session to ask me anything, ask me any SEO questions after that. So there's benefits to joining the Zoom call, and there's benefits to replying yes. So those people who did that are going to get that opportunity. I will answer your questions first on YouTube and here as well, but do not ask me anything questions. But anyway, I can't go on forever. Anyway, if you want that, join the Zoom call and stay to the end. Also, I've got tons of coupons, tons of gifts. I've got a 100% off on stuff for you, so make sure you wait to the end. I'd be happy to deliver that. I give it to the Zoom folks first, and then I give the whatever's left over to everyone listening and watching. Okay. So, yeah, so I was saying, in Underground SEO University, which is the think tank that came up with all the theory you're going to see today, and all of the ranking theory, all the SEO tactics you're going to see today, where we completely take a new person who knows nothing about SEO and give them a career in SEO for far, far cheaper than if you went to university or college, for example. I'm quite proud of Underground SEO University. We've been building careers, and but it's not just for people who want to be SEOs. It's also for people who want to DIY. Why can I say that? Also for people who want to do it themselves, DIY SEO as well. We completely can radicalize and improve all of your SEO, whatever kind of SEO you're doing. Anyway, a guy in there, a student there by the name of Rene, he sold his website for €500,000. €500,000 he was ranking. So it is entirely possible. You can do it. You should do it. You should be an SEO. You can do SEO, and you should be doing SEO, and you will be doing SEO today. After you will be doing SEO today, like the pros, like the best of them. After I show you how to use our tool that we use. Okay. So if no one has any questions, if there's nothing further to discuss, let me get right here to SEO University. I am broadcasting live to the tube views. Yay. And is there, hold on, I just have to make sure there's noise. I don't have my earbuds in. Let me see here. Is there noise? Yay, there's noise. Great. So I will turn that off, and I will come in here just to make sure. Hold on a second. I will, hey, where's my mouse go? Hello, I'd like to have a mouse that works, please. Thank you. There we go. A mouse that works. Heaven forbid that happens. Sorry, let me just go here. Let me go to, sorry, my mouse is acting up, of course. You know, just because, you know, you're doing a demo, that's exactly when you want the mouse to act up. What is your problem? Here we go. Mute all, enter, yes, there we go. Okay. All right, fine. Thank you very much. Okay, let me go here, share this, share the screen. Okay, now, so here is the application we're going to be using today. It's called SEO Copilot. You're going to find this at seocopilotai.com. And you're going to see we have very cost-effective pricing for smaller sites to ease you into the application. We also have a ton of resources here. This is probably where you signed up for the thing. I've got 100% off coupons for this, so make sure you listen to the end. And here's the software here. I'm just using an account that has a free trial that I've snuck credits onto. You can get a free trial too for 2 weeks, and at end of the sales pitch, this is going to help you automate SEO, save 99% on your costs, and rank higher, more effectively, more consistently, which is the name of the game. That's actually, why is Meta started? What is happening? That's actually the name of the game. That's actually what you want. Oh, don't need this either. I got all kinds of stuff going on today. Woohoo. And now my mouse doesn't work again. Matt, my system, what is happening to my system? The mouse doesn't work. The mouse is not working. Applications are firing all over the place. What is happening? Google has hacked me. Google has hacked me and doesn't want me to show you all of the awesome things that we have here. That's what's going on. Okay. So here it is, SEO Copilot. Let me talk about it quickly before my system completely fails. So this is an application I've been building for the last few years. It takes my 30 years experience for OnPage, and it takes the entire OnPage process from finding the ranking opportunities and moving to building your perfect page. It takes hundreds of hours down to mere minutes, and it is really a revolution in terms of artificial intelligence. It's an SEO agent with many little mini SEO agents built in. And so let me show you. So when back in the day, way back when in the day, when I was but a wee babe, or a young man in my early 20s, in the 2000s, SEO used to be very competitive in the sense that everyone was going for everything. It was a kind of a brand new niche. People were still going for everything. Now, SEO is still just as exciting as it was in the 2000s. Don't listen to the hype, right? But you have to have an AI to help you build the pages, which is fine. AI is the new tool. It's the new tool du jour. I don't know why people are balking at it. No one drives a horse and buggy anymore. They all move to the car. Sorry, horse and buggy industry. We moved to the car. That's the way that it is. I don't think anyone would complain about that. At least not 5 or 10 years after they get used to it. But how does OnPage work? So this is how OnPage works. And back in the day, we would always try to find what they call the low-hanging fruit, find the ranking opportunities. Then you'd find the boosting keywords that would help, those SEO keywords. You put in the URL, the title, the meta description, the H1, the body of the content, what you would put there, where you would put them, how much you would put them there, what frequency you would put them there. That's all really what people think of OnPage, really at that point. And I've probably already blown some of your minds being like, what do you mean? I have to put keywords in all those places? Yes. There has to be a certain frequency? Yes. If I do this wrong, will I ever rank? No. Is it easy to do? Not by hand, not by imagining what it is and just stuffing it in there. Again, this is why we need AI to look through tens of thousands of lines of code that we never could. And to it's super exciting to be able to do the work for us and just put it in the page. And then you have to write the page. Not only this, but to make a White Hat article. Let me regale you with how White Hat used to work. You used to have to do 10 or 20 hours of research on what a widget is, or a sprocket or whatever you're doing the SEO for, because you have no idea how any of that stuff works, right? You're not an expert in landscaping. You're not an expert. I have a cat. Sorry, all this cat fur on my shirt. She likes to lay on my shirts. she likes to use my shirts as a bed. You have no idea how law works. You have no idea as an SEO how this works, that works. Google only wants to rank people who are like 30 years experts on any given topic. But here's the good news. And you need to talk about it. Remember the EAT acronym, experience, expertise, authority, and trust? Well, we have an acronym called SHEET. You need the SHEET. You got to be the SHEET, which is semantic keywords, helpful keywords, expertise words, experienced words, words that show you have authority, therefore you get the trust, and then final T, and that is timeliness. You need to be timely as well. That's the formula for OnPage, the sheet. Semantic words, helpful words, experienced words, expertise words, authority words, therefore you get the trust, or that you start getting the trust in terms of the click age probability, which is a very specific, actual leaked factor that Google uses. It's not called Panda anymore. It's called click age probability and site quality. And I can prove that to you today, and that's how OnPage works. Your click age probability is the probability that you're going to be a good, helpful, useful page. You have the sheet, you have the semantic words, everything in the right frequency, in the right order, in the right places. So you see there's more than just semantic keywords, right? So, since the beginning of SEO, you've always thought of OnPage as, okay, if I want to rank for chiropractor Winnipeg, I need to say chiropractor Winnipeg all over the place. That's called the EMQ, the exact match query. Not anymore, right? If you do that too much, you're going to get blown out of the SERPs, right? You're going to get nuked. You're going to get nuked out of there. But you do need to say it. You need to say it in certain ways. You need to say certain synonyms of this, certain sub-entities of this, and you need to say them in the right frequencies. Or Google's not going to rank you, because it has no way to know that you are correctly enough on the topic and you're saying the right stuff, other than by counting it up, right? By doing a score. That's how the scoring works. So that scoring has always worked. Anyway, so that's how people think of OnPage, really, of just the semantic keywords. But there's 4 other classes of keywords: helpful keywords, experience, expertise keywords, authority keywords. Therefore, you're going to get the trust, and timely keywords as well. They want to make sure that the information is current, that it's up to date. They don't want to be ranking stuff that's slow or old. Sorry if my computer's slowing down. I can see I'm chunking. I don't know why. Again, my computer decided maybe to update right now, and that's why everything's going crazy. I have no idea. Or again, Google might be hacking me. Google might be hacking me to try to stop me from telling you all these awesome secrets. That's definitely going to help you rank. Okay, for free, which is what I want to do. That's what we're doing today. So, yes, so back to here. So there's a tons of keywords that you need, and then you need to be able to build those in a page. And you need to be able to do that faster than everybody else and more efficiently than everybody else. Because here's the thing that people don't realize about SEO. It's not the person who ranks number one who wins at SEO. That's not how you win at SEO. Now, I know I just, again, blew everyone's mind. They're like, what do you mean? I want to rank number one. That's exactly what you want to do in SEO. Nope. Nope. I've been doing it for 30 years. For every single kind of SEO you can imagine. Huge projects that make millions of dollars a month. I've been responsible for millions of dollars a month organic revenue. And in the tiniest little sites, SEO is all the same. It's all the same. So don't think for a second, well, Josh, I'm doing local SEO and you're talking about $1 million a month. This isn't for me. Wrong again. SEO is SEO. That's like saying, I also teach martial arts. I have 3 black belts. And that's like saying, well, Josh, this punching is not for me. I just want to just do kicks. When I get into a street fight, I just want to beat them with kicks. Like, wrong. You're going to be doing some punching too, right? It's the same across the board, whether you're just trying to defend yourself for 30 seconds, or you're trying to, be John Wick and beat up 20 guys. It's the exact same thing, just applied to however you need to apply it. So SEO, local or global, I'm not talking about map rankings. That's different product. The Google informational search product, ranking in that, is exactly the same for every kind of SEO. And yes, you do need to go to the depths and the knowledge that I'm giving you. And it's not very much. It's just it's a 2-hour course for OnPage. I mean, come on, that's used to take like 20 hours to learn. Now 2 hours, that's great. Yeah. So, it's guys, it's not the person who ranks number one who wins at SEO. Think about it. For years, SEO has been lumped into the marketing department, and that's wrong. That's the wrong way of looking at it. I've learned after 30 years of doing this. It is actually it's a business process play is what SEO is. It's a business efficiency play. You need to rank number one faster than they are, easier than they are, cheaper than they are, with less hours spent than they are, with less risk than they're incurring to do it. And you need to do that in an iterative way that you can rinse, repeat, and build far more pages than they have and have a bigger site footprint than they do, or just as big at the very least, and outweigh in terms of quality for your pages, but also in terms of quantity for your pages. You need to be able to build up that engine faster and more efficiently than all of your competitors who, I might add, have already been doing this for a number of years. You're a little late to the game, right? It's 2025. This has been going on for 25 years already. And some of you are going to have competitors who've been already building up signals. They've already been accruing ranking signals for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And not only do you need to match them, then you need to exceed them in many cases. So, although I have ways around that. I have ways you can get around that. I'm going to show you today for free. I have secrets. I have secrets to show you, which I'm about to get to right away. So guys, think about that, right? It's not who ranks number one. You don't own the ranking. Google doesn't owe you anything. Life's not fair. Sorry, the Canadian said. Life's not fair, and Google is especially not fair. They already have picked their favorites, and you're really going to have to do a good job efficiently, cost effectively, and less hours than everyone else is spending, and yet get more out of it, and yet do more and get more than they're doing, more in terms of quality, which I'll show you today, and in terms of quantity, which I will show you all this today. You have to be able to do that to match them and then beat them, and to make Google change its mind, its very stubborn mind, and go, you know what? This new upstart, josh'sredapples.com, who I've never seen on Red Apples before, maybe I'll give them a try. Maybe I'll let them answer a question here or there. Throw them a bone. See how well they do. You never know. They could be better than all the other ye olde redapples.coms that we have. So you're really going to have to work hard. Well, actually, that's not true at all. You're really going to have to adopt the formula. You don't have to work hard at all. Actually, you can work very easily. You have to work smarter. You're really going to have to work smarter than your competitors to be able to accrue all those signals to rank number one faster than they are, easier than they are, in a less risky way that takes less hours and costs less money. Think about it this way. You don't want it to take 12 months and $2,000 a month of doing SEO to rank number one for something that only makes $500 a month anyway, right? That's the kind of ratio you want to avoid. You want to rank number one for hundreds of queries in a month or two, or 3 or 4 or 5, 6, or at least on page 1 in a month or 2. Page 1 is easy to do in a week. We can do page 1 in a week. Making it stick there, it can be difficult, and that gets into other things. But we can get number 1 in a week easily. You can get page number 1 in a week easily, and I'll show you how to do that today. Again, making it stick, building enough pages, getting enough site weight, getting enough site trust. Site weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, and site trust are the same kind of thing. More high quality pages produced faster, giving better answers than everybody else. That's how you break in. That's how you break in. And that's exactly how you need to think of it if you want to succeed in 2025 and beyond. My 30 years tells me, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do today. Okay, so let me see here. Are there actually any real people? Yes, Jorge and Vilmantes. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for joining. The rest are all just, oh, and Carlos, how you doing, my friend? Okay, all right. Hi, Jorge says hi, hello. I will give you a thumbs up. Okay, so let's do that. So now that we know how OnPage works and how SEO works, and now that we know Vilmantes says hi, Carlos says hi, hey guys, thanks for joining. I appreciate you for being here. I hope you're ready to learn how to change your life today in making a ton of SEO money. Starting with the most important part of SEO, which is OnPage. Here's another thing I need to say, is that in 2025, links aren't even in the top 3 of factors. OnPage is the new off-page, right? OnPage is the new links. OnPage, because Google's using artificial intelligence to rate everything and read everything, they don't need to look at the links as much, right? They have an AI that kind of judges like a human. Is this a good page or not? They've fired most of their human quality raters, and they're doing that all with artificial intelligence, which is not a surprise. Google said they would do that 20 years ago. They said our goal is to fire all the humans and just have AI doing it. That's the path Google's been on since the very, very beginning. So OnPage is now a huge ranking factor. It's the biggest ranking factor, and it's the platform you need to build off all your other factors anyway. Think of it this way as well. I'll get to that. I'll do that analogy later. So I'll get right to the content. So, okay. So here is what you need to do. And this is how you circumvent the unfairness of the system. You get your own unfair advantage. You get your own competitive advantage. You use SEO Copilot. You use artificial intelligence based on 30 years experience of SEO in how to find the ranking opportunities, and the keyword, that's called keyword discovery. And I'll just read what it says here. Our AI will scan thousands of keywords to find where your competitors are weak, the traffic is high, and ready to buy. That is the name of the game. This is how you solve 70% of SEO problems right here, by doing this portion right to begin with. So that's why we start here. And this is part of OnPage. This is the most important part of OnPage. I know a lot of people think, OnPage is just stuffing in keywords in a title tag. That could not be more wrong. A, that's not what it is in 2025. B, that's not where it starts. It starts over here in finding the ranking opportunities. If you forget everything else I'm going to tell you today, start by finding the ranking opportunities. Trust me, I have successes and failures, right? I've failed massively because I got cocky and thought I knew what people were searching. Wrong. That was a mistake on my part. You always need to do, anytime you do a content marketing push to get content on the site, which is the majority of SEO, because it's the majority of the ranking factors these days of doing at least the on-page right, and then building on top of that with your internal linking, with your clustering, with everything, how that works properly, and then all of the other quality signals you need to put on the site, which there's tons. And then all the off-page signals after that, which links is just one out of many, and not even the best one anymore, quite frankly. If you want to learn more about that, email me, and I'd be happy to teach you how to do everything else past this on-page course. But the first thing you need to do is find the ranking opportunities. It solves, if you forget everything else I say today, finding the ranking opportunities solves 70% of all SEO problems. And OnPage needs to start with the finding the ranking opportunities, and OnPage is the basis of rankings for now on, for 2025 and beyond. Then the next step, I'll go over that, is finding the boosting on-page keywords. So that's where you're kind of be looking at your competitors, kind of. I'll show you actually the the way that our AI does it, which is better. And then you'll be building pages. We're going to be doing all that today. So let's get started. So fine, Josh. You're like, okay, Josh, I hear you. Great. I need to find the ranking opportunities. Do you mean like the niche research that people call it? Yes, some people call it niche research. Although niche research is kind of a step before the on page. That's like the business planning step. We are like, what business do I even want to be a part of? Do I want to be in the crypto business? See how easy it is to rank there and how much money there is in general. Do I want to be in the kitchen renovation business? See how easy it is there for Granite Bay, California, how much money is involved there. Do I want to be in the hair transplant business? See how easy or hard it is to rank for that currently, how much money you can make there. That's when you're making more top level decisions, which are completely valid and very, very important to make. But that's kind of pre-on page. When you get to the on page part, you're like, okay, I do want to rank for crypto, or I do want to rank for kitchen reno, Granite Bay. Actually, I'll go back to the crypto. The crypto one will be better. I do want to rank. I do want to be in the crypto business, or I do want to be in the hair transplant business. I know a lot of this is really quite frankly, very lucrative. I could be a reseller of this. I could be an affiliate of this, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter if this is what kind of SEO this is, and don't get thrown off by that. Sometimes right now people are like, Josh, this is not a local query, so it doesn't apply to me. Yes, it does. All of this applies. I've been doing this 30 years. All of this applies, trust me. You need to do the research to find out for hair transplant and all of the different other ways of saying it, hair transportation, hair plant, hair transfer, hair plantation, hair implant surgery, all those different, what we call converted match queries to the exact match query, the CMQs to the EMQ, or all the identical entities, if you want to call it that way. When you search any of these will be valid, so to speak. But again, that's jumping ahead. I'll get there when I get there. For any kind of SEO you're doing, you need to find out if it makes the good money and if it is easy to rank for. What you do not want to do is be like, okay, I know, I want to rank for hair transplant. That's what the client said. That's what my boss said. That's what my brain told me without doing any research. So I'm going to go try ranking for hair transplant. And you base all of your SEO on hair transplant. That would be a mistake. In many, many cases, in 99% of cases, that would be a mistake to start off with. Why? Because although it does make a hell of a lot of money, so you're right. And this is my rough approximate of how much money you can make a month. It's just a rough approximate. It could be as much as a factor of 10 off. You could make 333 grand a month doing this, or you could make 3 grand a month doing this. I don't know. This is a number that's kind of off. But this number here, this difficulty number, keyword difficulty, you see it's 147.47% harder than SEO is on average. That number is enough. You could that is when I was doing I've done a master's degree in a science-related field, and I was doing a PhD in a science-related field. It was philosophy, psychology, neuroscience, interdisciplinary. And so I read a lot of science, a lot of statistical data correlative analyses, actually. And there is a mathematical formula that scientists use to make sure that they have enough data points to make their, I'm sure you've heard this before, to make their scientific study mathematically and scientifically valid, because it's statistically valid because it has enough data points. And and I've done the math on this, and for the millions of records we have in our database now for hair transplant, not for hair transplant, this for keyword discovery, we have thousands of users using keyword discovery. We have thousands of users in SEO Copilot. It's used by thousands of people, trusted by thousands of people. You should be one too. And so because we have such a broad range of SEO across the board, from hair to crypto, from local to global, we have people doing all kinds of SEO in all kinds of ways. We can get a baseline of how difficult SEO is in general, and then how much harder a certain niche is. You've heard SEOs talking about how hard it is to rank for payday loans, or how hard it is to rank for herbal Viagra, two niches I've worked in, by the way, and succeeded in. And it is harder, I can tell you that. If it's much, much harder. And my keyword difficulty rating that I've done here is a really good way of determining and making objective these kinds of subjective decisions that certain niches are more difficult. So and you shouldn't be that surprised. I mean, look how much money you can make for hair transplant. or hair implant surgery is the same kind of query. It's the same. It's one of the. It should be one of the synonyms here. Yeah, hair implant surgery. You see. So you can see the. You shouldn't be at all surprised that it says it's not recommended, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. And the actual number is 147%, and that's only going to be like 10% off utter maximum. 137% harder than SEO is on average when you're trying to rank a page is way harder. Like it's 130% harder, right? So even if this is 10% off, which it will never be more than 10% off, that's a number you can take to the bank. And so therefore you can make very interesting, and you should make very interesting, and you should make very useful SEO decisions based off of this. Because here's another piece of information. Here's another secret that you're going to learn today. And again, as I said, Google's not fair. Here's another way they're not fair, is that they're just not going to give that kind of a query to a new site or a site that is untrusted. I don't care if your site's been around for 20 years. If they don't trust your site, if they're not ranking you very well on something directly related to hair transplant, you should not try to start with it. Because it's like going to a job interview. You get one chance to make a good first impression. So I'm sure you've heard that adage before. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. Once you've burnt that chance, you're done. It may take them a much longer time to try you again, to trust you again, to try you again. And Google is exactly the same. If they try you for a query and you're not ready, if you don't have the sheet and all the off-page signals you need as well, if you don't have all the signals to answer this question in the most expertised, authoritative, helpful way, they're not going to trust you again. Not only I should say, statistically, your trust rate goes down, right? And so what does that mean in practical effect? That means if you try to go for too hard a keyword too fast, no matter how much money it makes, but imagine you decided to go for this one. It's very tough. It's 86% harder than SEO is on average, but it only makes a little bit of money. Sure, they're bidding a lot, but not a lot of people search it. Sure, it's hot this year, but not a lot of people search it. So this is going to make you like $2,000 a month, maybe, right? Something like that. And so not only would you spend more money trying to get there, if you could get there, and a new site's not going to get there. They don't trust the new site, right? You've got to do this in a certain order. It's got to be like you go to the first interview and you have your suit and tie on and you don't have a ketchup stain, and they pass you to the next interview. That's exactly how Google works. They try you for something instead that's easy, that no one has given a very good answer for yet. Like ignore these queries. The fact that they're looking on Reddit, that's a bad example. But like Shaka Khan hair transplant price, it is very easy to rank for this. This is 62% easier than SEO generally is. And you can see why. No one has done any SEO for this. No one knows how to do this. Their sites are not focused on it. Their pages are not focused on it. Their titles are not focused on this. They don't know how to do it. They don't have the EMQ in any of the key spots. They barely have any traffic, and they barely have any backlinks, and there's no brand awareness except for one. So this is very easy to rank for, theoretically speaking, right? Again, I don't know if you want to compete with the main brand they're probably looking for here or something like that. But that's not the point. The point is, ignore the stuff over here. It'll be different for you. It's the stuff over here you want to pay attention to. And what you want to do is like slam dunk the interview. You do not want to go to the interview that you're not ready for. That's why I say not recommended. I say this is not recommended for junior SEOs or for untrusted websites. Now you're going to ask me, Josh, how do I know I'm a junior SEO or I'm an untrusted website? I'll explain. If you want to know the answer to that question, I'll ask it and I will tell you. But generally speaking, if you're not ranking already for something related to this, like with hundreds of pages all over the place, you should not go for this. You need to start with the easy interview first. You need to do the easy test question first before you move on to the harder test questions. You need to provide good pages that Google's like, hey, I tried you out because your ClickAge probability, the probability of this page being a good answer, RankBrain says, one of their main AIs says, is good. So I'm going to try you out. And then when they try you out on enough of these pages, you're going to get a good site quality score. Again, if anyone doubts that quality is a Google ranking factor, ask me, and I will prove it to you that it is. I can prove it to you with 2 different leaks that we have from Google. Underground SEO University, we are kind of like the WikiLeaks of SEO, plus like MIT on top of that. We're like the MIT WikiLeaks of SEO. We have all the leaks. We've done all the testing. I'm not going to sit here and brag about it. Just take my word for it. We have. I could prove it to you if you want to see it. I'm not going to waste time doing that. I want to move through this as expeditiously as possible. But if you have a question about it, you want me to prove it to you, I'd be happy to do so. Okay. So ultimately, as I was saying, it's the final return on investment. What is the return on investment? The return on investment is profit, right? You have to do this. You want to rank number 1, but you want to do this faster, cheaper, easier, with less effort in less hours, in a way that is less risky, by making crappy pages, for example, on OnPage and lowering your site quality, and which usually happens when you generate content quickly. You usually make crap content, and that's definitely what's going to happen if you hire someone overseas to do it. No offense to people overseas, but they're overworked. And if you just get ChatGPT to write your content, or some free thing to write your content, it's going to be crap. Those are the risks. You need to be able to generate all this content without incurring any of these risks, faster, cheaper, easier, and a way that you can rinse, repeat quicker than everybody else. That is what I mean by final return on investment. So you're like, okay, Josh, I get it. When you sort by final return on investment, when this bar is the highest and these scores are compared, and don't worry about what the score is, it's the comparison that's the important thing. I get it. This is easier to rank for because no one ever thought to rank for hair transplant hair. Why people are typing that in, we have no idea, but it's easier to rank for. I can go for it. Yeah, you can, and you should, but you're going to get into tough niches really quickly here, right? You're going to get into tough stuff fairly fast. So probably what you want to do, unless you're already dominating the hair transplant field, you want to start with very easy keywords and build up from there, because that is how you build up your trust and your credibility with Google. And once you've built up your credibility with Google, that's when they're going to keep trying you for even tougher keywords that statistically, the tougher the keyword, usually the more money. Although you do want to look in the tool here and be like, okay, great. I got these, you're looking for the gem keywords that actually will make you money and also are easy to rank for. That also are crazy popular this year. Right? Like these would be great keywords to try to rank for, theoretically speaking, from here to here. These numbers look really good theoretically. And you would want to build up like this and be like, oh, great. Here is hair restoration surgery near me. Fantastic. Or hair graft price. Here's your first gem keyword that could make you enough money to sustain your project. And you get it by building all the easier ones first and then finally getting to this one. And if you're like, Josh, okay, I've run out of easy keywords to build. What do I do? Fine, no worries. Just go to the end here and run more difficulties. I'm going to give everyone right now has unlimited credits in the system, or they should, because I want people to use the system like crazy. I want people to adopt the system. And in the future, you're all going to have very handsome credits. You're going to have a handsome amount, a liberal amount of credits so that you're able to do all the SEO you need to do. The different tiers will have differences between them, but you're all going to have much more credits than the system previously gave you. So that's an awesome change that's coming down the pipe as well. Okay, so it's really simple. Jorge says, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, my friend. Gold star for you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for interacting. It helps me teach better. Okay, so it's not that difficult. What you need to do is you put seed keywords or base keywords in here. You're like, okay, I got a client who wants to rank for crypto. So you put crypto in here. Once it runs, you start going through, you start selecting, okay, well, here's the keywords I might want to rank for. They're a young site, so I have to stay away from these ones for sure for now. And what I should do is go to the very easy crypto keywords and start just making money. Here's a gem keyword. Super easy to rank for, but it does make some money. People are bidding on it, and it's got some searches. And so once you get the rankings for this on page one, these are fairly easy to get for page one. You keep building these kind of queries and move on. And Elon Musk coin, boom, that's way popular this year. Look how much money it can make you. It's got comparatively, like, again, I can't promise you'll make $2,000 a month on this. You might make 200, you might make 20 grand. However, you're going to make something. And I can promise this keyword is going to make more money than this one. I can promise you that. So that's the other myth I would like to dispel today. People like to think that keyword discovery is like find the 8-word long tail informational keyword. Like, what is the cost of the Elon Musk crypto coin? Please, thanks, Google. Like, then they're trying to rank for those words exactly. And of course you can rank for it because no one else has tried to rank for it before. And then you can point to it and say, look, I got you number 1 on this page, client. That's great. However, it's not really going to help you rank for more lucrative queries. Not really that much. 1, 2, it's not making your customer any money. If you do that for 2 years and yet you're not making your customer any money, our job as SEOs, here's a major secret, hiding in plain sight. Our jobs as an SEO is to make the client more money. That is our job. And the longer it takes us to do this, the less they should be paying us to do it, quite frankly. The longer it takes us to make them money, the longer it takes to make our business money for an in-house SEO, the longer it takes for us to make money for ourselves, the worse the SEO is. And this has been a mistake that kind of crept in, and I think SEOs are partly to blame. Some of them, not anyone on the call listening here, I'm sure you guys are all cool, but some SEOs in the past, they've been like, yeah, sure, we'll make you 1,000 pages a month, and they will all rank, but they're like their pages on like 8, 9, 10 words, like how to do the best business, this, blah, blah, blah. And, and it's only for 2022, and it's only useful for 2022. And it had 8 words in it. So that's how you got it ranking on page 1. But you got like 1 person to it a month or 2 people to it a month. Or even if you got 10 people to it a month, none of them it's too high in the sales funnel. Nobody's buying anymore. And again, you don't want to be building high in the sales funnel because that's where the AI jaws shark, is going to eat your traffic. Gulp, like Pac-Man, waka, waka, waka. It's gonna eat you like the ghost after the power pellet you are if you stick too much to the high end informational queries. So you're like, Josh, but this goes against SEO canon. You're supposed to rank for informational queries first. No, I've been doing this 30 years. That was just made up. Somebody made that up. I possibly made that up. That could have been made up by me. It sounds like something I would have said earlier because it was easy to rank for to begin with. But I was wrong if I said that because you need to be ranking for the keywords that are both easy but also will make you the most money sooner, faster, better, because that's how you succeed at SEO, because you get more money coming in sooner and faster than your competitors have. You're more efficiently than your competitors. Okay. So all you do is you just go down to keyword difficulty, very easy for most of you, because you probably don't have a site that's already ranking like crazy in this stuff. And you just start building very easy. You build, now you might be asking, how many pages do we need to build, Josh? Okay, well, it's pretty easy. Let's look at Caw Crypto here. Let's do the search for this. Let's put this in Tuvalu. So here's what we got a ranking for this. Okay, we got these pages ranking for this. Great. Okay, now, when it comes to, let's go to this page for currencies Caw. Great. Okay, let's do this. Let's go site : now and say CAW. How many pages do they have indexed on this specific topic, CAW? Go to the end here, boom. Looks like the number 1 site has 100 pages, 200 pages if you include the ones that are not displayed. So that means if you want to compete with the number 1 site on this topic, which we do, Caw Crypto, that means you need to have roughly around 200 pages indexed in this. Roughly, although some of their pages are shit pages, look at this. So those are probably not going to be counted, but they're mentioning it on a lot of pages. So that's pretty much how many pages you're going to need. You're going to need around 100 to 200. Now, here's a little secret. Our pages are so much higher quality, generally speaking, than everybody else constructs, both with an AI for sure. We are years ahead in terms of quality, the kind of pages that get constructed. not in the way it looks, but in the actual factors that matter for SEO. We are years ahead of everybody else in creating quality pages because we've known for years through our underground SEO University, scientifically tested that, yeah, you need the sheet. You need semantic, helpful, experience, expertise, authority, keywords. Therefore, you get the trust. They try you out, and then you have to be timely as well. They'll try you out even more because you're timely. And there's many more tricks like schema that also get you tried out more and boost you higher. Again, the internal linkage, how to do it, where to put it, the clustering, doing that properly. There's so much you can do on your site to boost your SEO. It's such an exciting time to work in SEO, to get #1 rankings. And if you're like, sorry, I'm going to shamelessly brag for a second. And if you're like, but Josh, isn't this a huge problem for people that the generative search is going to take their rankings? Nope. Here we are ranking in the top bar in perplexity for a keyword. Here we are ranking in the top. These are all mine. Here we are ranking in the top for an AI overview. Here we are being actually selected by the AI. The AI saying, hey, you should consider this company. The AI is actually like a concierge at a hotel is actually telling the user, hey, these are the guys you guys should get to build your kitchen reno for Granite Bay. Now, it can be difficult to have the pages stick there, but it's not impossible to get there. Jorge says the Slack community is open to us. Yes, yes, this is Discord, but yes, the community is a possibility, Jorge. Wait to the end, and I've got some very good gifts and coupons for people who wait to the end. All good things to those who wait, as they say. So there's that. Let me see here now. Is there any questions in the YouTube? Neil says, hey Josh, watching on YouTube. Hey Neil, how you doing, brother? Welcome. Thanks for jumping on here. Okay, so, all right. And you might be like, okay, but Josh, fine, I get it. You want to build up on the depending on where you are, you want to build up on the appropriate pages that are representative of the level of trust you've acquired already in Google, whether that's nothing, 0, you need to build up your trust, or you already got a lot of trust in crypto. You could probably rank on this page, no problem. You can go for the harder kind of queries. Jorge asks, does SEO Copilot have some insight or recommendations for the new AIO, the AI overview? Yes, that's how I got it. That's how I did it, right? Google selects amongst the top pages to tell the AI to recommend them. So all of the Google ranking factors are what the AI is using. So it really isn't any different. There are minor differences, I will admit. It's about 80% the same. There are 20% of things you need to do that we're starting to learn. And so as Underground SEO University is far ahead of everybody else and be able to get to rank you in the new AI overview. Although quite frankly, hardly anyone uses the AI overview. Still by far, if you look at the stats, the vast majority of people are still using the 10 blue links kind of a deal. So, but yes, we're fully ready for when AI mode comes out. If it comes out, it's still a big if it'll come out, right? We're very early in AI. No one knows what's really going to happen. And I'm old, see the gray in my beard. I'm old enough to remember the .com days. And in the .com days, it was exciting times. And there was 4 different major search engines before Google came out. There was Webcrawler, Alta Vista, Yahoo, Web Search, and then Google. And then finally Google beat the rest of them. There was a bunch of browsers that came out before Chrome. There was Internet Explorer was the browser for years before Chrome. So we're way too early to say who's going to win this race. We are way too early to say who's going to win this war. It is way too early for someone to do a knee-jerk reaction and jump out, right? Just because the market fluctuates doesn't mean you stop buying stock, right? That you can't make any money if you stop buying stock. Just because SEO is fluctuating doesn't mean it's time to get out of SEO. Now's the time to double down when everyone else is getting out. When do you buy a stock? When it crashes and it's low. That's when you buy a stock. And then it's going to go up later, right? When do you buy Bitcoin? When it crashes. And then it's going to go up later. SEO is exactly the same. It's the crash now. Everyone thinks it's a crashing. Oh, it's so hard now. It's only hard now because the lame-ass tactics people were using for the last 15 years, which still kind of worked some of the time for some of them, has mostly stopped. And now they're like, it's too hard to figure out. Well, should have been part of underground SEO University. We've been reverse engineering it for the last decade, and we're like business as usual. Like, meh. The thing that's hitting us the most has nothing to do with SEO, has everything to do with the economy being so terrible. That's hitting everybody for every niche everywhere. At least in SEO, we know how we can make up the money faster. Okay, anyway, what was I saying? I don't know, I was saying some stuff. So yeah, so you need to, oh yeah, okay, that's what I was saying. So you might be like, okay, Josh, so you're telling me I have to build like 200 pages before I can compete on that particular query? Let's just use that query as an example. The answer would be yes. Although you can build on other pages that are not directly on that call, that CAW, whatever that was, that crypto. You could build it on their crypto pages, and that's building on the crypto entity of the three entity phrase, CAW, crypto, CAW, crypto, and CAW crypto. Those are three entities in that one thing. So you can build on those different things. So let me just turn that off here. Boom. Okay. Another computer thing. But so that's the good news. But the challenge is, yeah, you're going to need around 200 pages in your cluster to compete with that. So like, Josh, well, how do I do that? I can build like 1 page a day. That's going to take, if you do the math, working 5 days a week, that's going to take however long. I don't know, 40 weeks or whatever that is. I don't know. I can't even do the math. That's going to take a very long time to be able to build up to them. And I'm going to run out of money before then. I'm not going to make any money. I can't do SEO for months and months and months and not make any money back before I even start getting even my on-page on par with these guys, and then have to do all the other off-page stuff. Well, I've got some good news for you. I've got some challenging news and some good news for you. One, the challenging news. Yep, you're right. If you build at that rate, that's how long it's going to take. And you're completely correct to think that you can't afford to take that long, because I already told you. How you win at SEO is you need to be more efficient than your competitors at the marathon. And oh yeah, by the way, the marathon started 20 years ago for them. So you need to catch up. Sorry. That's the way that it is. However, here's the good news. I have an AI that can help you. I have an AI that can completely blow them out of the water. It's that good. It's that good. The AI is that good that it can find the low-hanging fruit, so that's less you have to build, 1. 2, it can find the low-hanging fruit that makes you most money, so you can make more money sooner. 3, 2, 3, 1, alpha, beta, gamma, I don't know, some number. I'm iterating some. It's been a long week, guys. It's been a very long week. I can't even count anymore. But the next number in my iterative list, whatever that is, the next item. But here's the thing. You don't build 1 page a day. You're building with artificial intelligence. You build 5 pages a day, right? It takes about an hour to do a page in SEO Copilot. At a very high level, that can get you page 1 rankings within a week. Having it stick there is the problem. Having the trust to stick there is a problem. And having your other ranking factors, your traffic ranking factors set up correctly is another major problem too. Or your conversions set up is another major problem too. Here's another huge secret. Conversions are a ranking factor. Google tracks all your traffic. Don't ask me how they do it. I can prove to you that they do it with 10 years of scientific proof. Trust me, conversions are a ranking factor. Google sees when the people go on your page and like, this sucks, and they go back. Man, kicked out of the interview. Interview's over. Thanks. It's like you just said the N-word. Interview over. You're gone. Kaboom. That's it. Sorry, I didn't mean to trigger anyone. I was saying that in a laughingly way. Say you say some improper word, whatever that is, you're out of the interview, right? Conversions are a huge, huge factor. Which again, I can completely tell you how to crush better than everybody else using science in underground SEO University. But so it's like, it's not going to take you forever, right? It's going to take you 5 days a week. 5 days a week, you build 5 pages each day at 5 hours of work. Take the other 2-3 hours off. Go golfing or whatever you like to do. That's SEO, guys. That's the SEO job. It's not a full. It's not often a full work week. Depending on the niches you're going for. If you're going for a tougher niche, it's a full work week and more. But if you're doing it right, at least in the beginning, you're doing 5 pages a day at least, if not more. 25 pages a week, 100 pages a month. It's going to take you 1 month to probably get the same juice The content juice, you've heard of link juice? Well, now content juice is more important. Or the internal link juice, if you want to put it that way. It's going to take you about a month to get probably the internal link juice, because our pages, pound for pound, are better pages that they've probably built, statistically speaking. I don't know anything about the site I looked at. I don't know how good the quality of the pages are. Ranking number one, they got to be pretty good. But it was such a low competition query that Google's ready to rank anybody. Anybody got an answer for this? I don't know anything about this. I heard you maniac yammering on about crypto. You answer this. Google grabs them and puts them on stage. Boom. You answer this. Boom. And it's like, back in the day when we wore onions on our belt, crypto this. And Google's like, oh, that wasn't the best answer, but I have no one else to answer this question until you come along. And they're like, oh, good, someone new. And get this raving lunatic here. Boom, you go answer this question. And you're like, here's the helpful FAQ, and here's the pros and cons, and here's all the tables with all the data, and here's why you want to do it, here's why you don't want to do it. Here's all the helpful information that's going to help you make every decision you ever wanted to make about crypto. That doesn't mean it's a super long page either, by the way. That's another SEO myth. Long pages don't rank better, actually. The exact right length of page ranks better, and you can only use AI to determine what that is. There's no way you have the time to look at 1,000 web pages and determine what the average of that should be. Because that's where the averages come from, is the entire what's called the shard collection. And that is, you can Google that if you like. And that is what Google calls the database retrieval that they use across multiple database sources, hence shards from each database, fractures, pieces from each database that they pull up. With the Mustang server, which is the workhorse server that Google uses. Again, we know this all from leaks. I probably know more about Google ranking engineering than some of their new employees, probably. I'm just not a programmer. I have no idea about the programming stuff they do, but I probably know more about. I'm absolutely sure I know more about the internal ranking things of how their ranking factors work than any of their new employees working in search, or any of their employees in any other department that's not search. And Google puts those answers up there, and they want to give you a try, and that's exactly where you're trying to break in, right? That's exactly the proper way of doing OnPage. The winning way of doing OnPage is getting the right answer to the right person in the right way and showing Google you can do it. Be like, see, Google, I did it. And Google's like, yeah, you stay on the stage. Go ahead. You stand there. Okay. And, we'll keep trying you out, and we'll see. We'll see how well you do. And so you're like, Josh, I can't write all this content by hand on your own. And the answer is, right, you can't. That game is done. Done like dinner. That game is done, son. You can't handwrite and beat people anymore. Maybe you can if you're like trying to do roofing for Saskatoon. Actually, Saskatoon's a pretty big city in Saskatchewan. You can't, if you're trying to rank for Nanaimo up island here, that's got 90,000 people. Actually, that's a fairly large city now too. I don't know. Some town with 10,000 people, someone's trying to do roofing for that town and no one else has a website for it. Yeah, you can handwrite it and you need to use AI for that 0.1% of cases. For 99.9% of all the other cases of SEO, which is all of you listening right now, you need to use AI to do your OnPage, or you will never catch up, and you will never succeed in staying ahead either. You need to catch up and then stay ahead, because it's always a race. The race doesn't stop, right? This marathon you're running, it doesn't end when you get number one ranking. You're like, phew, haha, done. I own that spot now. Haha, no one can ever take it. No, I'm sorry. That's not the way it works, right? You are renting that spot and you got to keep doing the work to keep it, right? Now you need to be more efficient than everyone coming up, and they're going to start learning about AI soon, right? People are not going to be, this level of scared or dumb or whatever it is about AI. They're going to learn about it and they're going to be coming along and trying to get it, right? So you need to use artificial intelligence to build these pages quickly and efficiently, and you need to keep using it to keep your site weight up and to keep building other pages, like maybe backlink pages. You need to be doing that to keep ahead as well, or off-page references, which is another huge major secret, which is the same as and both different than the other thing I just previously said. Okay, so that is probably the most important thing I'm going to tell you today. Keyword discovery. If you don't start with this, your project's probably going to go awry. Then after this, you're like, okay, Josh, great. So we're here. We're in the, let me actually do this. We're here. We're in keyword discovery. Okay, great. How do we build the pages? Well, it's pretty easy. What you do is you highlight this one, you highlight this one, let's do this one, and let's do those three. You say find the boosting keywords, and you say, okay, let's go to Tuvalu. I like to strip out the geographic factors, so I'm going to go to Tuvalu and click continue. The small island nation of Tuvalu has like a couple thousand people living there. They don't generally search in English, so you can strip out a bunch of geolocation signals, unless you happen to be trying to rank for Tuvalu. You can strip out a whole bunch of, in which case you should select it. You can strip out a whole bunch of geolocation signals by doing it that way, and so those are running. But what about this one? You're like, Josh, I like this keyword. This could be a great keyword for me, but it's 2022. Okay, well, I got that from Google AdWords. Here's what you can do. You can control this. You can go to Keyword Spy. Here's the other place you can run these reports. You go to Keyword Spy and you go 2025. Okay, I like how that looks. I think it would work good for me. Good. We'll select Tuvalu here as well. Boom. And you can get free rank tracking as well. If you have a page for this, you can put it in here and get free rank tracking and say start keyword report. That is automatically going to take you to the reports page. You're going to see these reports running that I just selected here. And then I would highly recommend that you give them a project, that you give them some kind of a project. You set a project for these after you create one. You can go here to manage projects. And you can see the reports are already running. So that is step number 2 here in the process of finding the boosting on-page keywords. So now, let me talk about this. So after you do the find the ranking opportunities for your content marketing push, you've got a few hundred pages you can build. Great. You know how easy they are. You've got the proper plan of getting the right answer to the right people at the right time in the right way, so that Google's going to trust you or put you on stage to answer this question, because they only have other raving lunatics and people they don't trust who barely, anecdotally talk about this thing. And that happens more times than you can imagine, right? So you always got to do the find the ranking opportunities to begin off with, to make sure you're ranking for the easiest keywords that also make you the most money. That's how you win. That's how you get the plus sign of winning, or that's how you hold the vampire back, or whatever. Okay. Step two is finding the boosting on-page keywords. I just showed you how to run that. It's very easy. Now, here's another major secret I'm going to help you with. Okay, so right now, if I asked you, what is OnPage? You probably say, well, you got to look at your competitors and you got to eyeball what they're doing, and you make a random guess as to what the ranking factors are, and then you try to replicate that on your page. That's what a lot of people are doing, and that's why a lot of people are saying SEO is hard and impossible, and they're failing. Because you can't do that anymore, guys. You can't do that anymore. I mean, I know all you guys are really smart. I know you're really smart, and I know you're really good. But I've been doing this 30 years, and I am not good enough to go to a page and eyeball the keywords and be like, yep, that's what we need to say, and put those in the right spots and the right frequencies. It is impossible. Statistically not possible. I'm gonna look right at the camera when I say this, guys. Guys, sorry, I know you're all really smart. That's how SEO worked 15 years ago, when there was one keyword, the EMQ. You want to rank for red apples, you put red apples in the title, the URL, and the H1, and you're done. It does not work that way anymore. It is far, far more complicated now. I can't do it. I've been doing this for 30 years. You need to use artificial intelligence to do it. You need to use AI to do all the counting of the hundreds of different entities that you need to use. There are hundreds of entities that you need to use. There's not just one entity on a page. There's hundreds of them that you need to have on the page that are subrelated in a very complex statistical tree structure to the main entities you need to rank about and you need to talk about. You need to rank for, so you need to talk about. And you need to do that all in descending order, all in the exact right frequency. That's how hard Google has made it. And they made it that hard on purpose, so that we SEOs would be harder for us to do, and we would have to buy AdWords. Don't forget, Google is always our enemy. They want to take that few $1 billion that SEO makes every year, and they're that greedy. They're already making like 50 billion, 100 billion in profit, not revenue, profit every year, Google is. And now they're one of the richest companies on the planet, like the top 5 for sure. And that's if you include the military industrial complex as number 1, of course, as you should, because it is the richest company in the world, the American military industrial complex and the multinational military industrial complex. But after that, like 2 or 3 would be like Amazon and then Google, right? And so they are greedy enough that they want to take that few $billion that are for us doing SEO, and they want to suck that into making us buying ads. And we're saying, no, bad Google, very bad. We're not doing that, right? We have a right to make money doing SEO. We have a right to make a living. And there'll always be a place for SEO because an AI will always need to see certain things in a certain way. It's like a guy you hire to do your resume correctly, right? And he puts the resume in the right order and sorts it in the right way so that it looks good to the person or the AI reading it. It's exactly the same thing. That job will never go out of style. That job will never, ever go out of style. SEO will never, ever go out of style. You'll always need, and there always will be a way to tailor a web page to make it look maximally palatable and maximally helpful to the AI and give it to it. So if you're like, Josh, you're blowing my mind. Okay, so you're saying, Josh, that we don't eyeball competitors to do OnPage. Well, then how do you do it? Easy. You click a button in SEO Copilot, it does it for you. It's done in 20 minutes. The short answer is there's so much data it needs to pull. Look at the data it needs to pull. One of these reports might be done now. It is. Here's Call Crypto. Here's what this report pulled while I was talking at you. It did all the rank brain test entities and scored them, hundreds of them. All of these are important, and some of them are going to hurt you, as opposed to some of them are going to help you. It pulled all those out. It pulled all these main entities out, and it pulled all these entities out in terms of the top 10 frequency. These are very important to get your correct rankings, right? That's very important. And then that's just one artificial intelligence Google has. Here's another artificial intelligence Google has. You have to pull out all the entities for this different artificial intelligence and rebuild you models in all of the top Google on-page artificial intelligences, including, but not limited to, RankBrain, which is the main one, BERT, which stands for Bidirectional Encoding Representation from Transformers, which is another main on-page one. But we also do the helpful content. We also do TW-BERT, which is term-weighting BERT. We also do helpful content, which I'll show you in another spot. We also do competitor HTML widgets, which I'm going to show you. We build all kind of models. We build the EAT models. We build the helpful models. We build the product review models. We build all these models that you're going to need to rank in Google. And we do that for you automagically by looking at tens of thousands of lines of code and thousands of pages that you never could possibly look at. Here's the other thing, is that people looking at the top 10 are looking at like 1% of the data they need to look at. The other 99% is beneath page 1, and all of that, like the ice under an iceberg, and all that ice matters. It matters far more than the little peak you have showing up at the top. So we have a ton. That's weird. We have, I don't know if that's worked correctly, but we have all of the entities that you need to build this page correctly. And we've done it in a way that it's quite revolutionary. We've stopped OnPage completely. You don't need to do OnPage anymore at all. We've gotten all these entities that you need to put in your page. You don't even need to worry about it or think about it for most of the time. Our AI does 90% of the job, 90% of the time, 90% good. You just need to be like a manager and look at, see what your SEO employee did and be like, yeah, that looks good, and move along with it. Here's another thing that we do. So the BERT entities are important to get you the topic. Here's another thing that we do. Let me show you. Let's do this. Let's do this one here, Crypto DBX report. We find all the entities that are important for this that you need to base your page on. We also find the HTML widgets. So here is another myth. Here's another secret I'm going to give you today for free. Here's another myth in the SEO industry. There's three myths. One is WordPress a ranking factor, or Joomla, or Wix, or Shopify. Are those things ranking factors? First question. Two, is page type a ranking factor? And the answer for both is yes. They are major ranking factors. They're hugely important. If you have WordPress with what's it called? That stupid thing, Edgelord, e-commerce, something. It edits the page. It's been a long week, like I said, guys. I can't remember what the hell it's called. Elementor, that's it. Elementor. I hate you, Elementor. If you have Elementor installed, it puts all this little crap in the HTML. And if none of your shard collection, that's not the top 10, that's the 1,000 pages that come back, which you don't have time to look at, and you couldn't even get access to anymore. If you don't have the API access, we have access to. You don't have time to look at that, right? But if statistically, it's not even statistically, it's a vectorization. So it's a mathematical vector. So whoever approaches spot number one is more and more important for both entities in terms of rank brain that are front facing in terms of the words, but entities are more than just words. There are image entities, there are music entities, there's sound entities. Any AI has entity types, theoretically speaking, and the entity types that matter for page type and for whether WordPress is a ranking factor or not, or whether e-commerce pages are a ranking factor, whether Shopify is a ranking factor, whether Elementor is a ranking factor, all totally depends. It's different for every niche, and it totally depends on the top 1,000 pages that Google has selected for that niche. So you need to analyze the 1,000 pages and tens of thousands of lines of code. And it's worth 7 or 8 spots. It's a huge ranking factor. It can be the difference easily between spot number 7 or spot number 1. It's a huge ranking factor. The more you are out of the statistical vector, the worse you're going to rank. The more you're in it, the higher you're going to rank, better than everybody else. So the good news is my AI does this for you automatically. You don't have to worry about this at all. My AI does this for you automatically. And it amalgamates not only the elements they're using, but the nesting of the elements. And not only does it automate the nesting of the elements you need to use in the document object model, it actually automates the properties and the property values you need to use as well. So that means like ARIA is a ranking factor because it puts a lot of attributes in here. Excuse me. All those things are ranking factors. And ultimately, we call it HTML widgets, but technically it's called DOM vector, DOM, document object model vector. And don't Google it. No one knows what that is except for us because we're the only people who found it. What does that mean? Well, what it means. What does all that gobbledygook mean, Josh? Don't worry about it. My AI does it. You don't have to worry about it. But it's doing it here in terms of saying you need this product name with these product listings. You need a featured image with a description of the image. You need an introduction. You need a category. You need a breadcrumbs, apparently. Whoops. You need a breadcrumbs. Actually, let me go back here. I should have done this. Let me start this article here. Yeah, do all this. I'll have something to talk about in a couple seconds. So you need to make sure you have all these products listed, and add to cart button is the kind of widgets that your successful competitors have that you need to approximate a copy and or directly rip off the HTML or the distillation of the HTML they're using. Product 1, product 2, you need to also have customer reviews. You need to have statistics and metrics with ratings. You need to have a 2025 year company, and you need your social media proof. This is different for every single niche. This is different for every single niche. Anyone who's watched this course a lot or done a lot of work in SEO Copilot, you've noticed this is different for every single niche. And again, do not underestimate how important this is. This is how you tell, Josh, how do I know what kind of page I need to build? The HTML widgets are going to tell you what kind of page you need to build. It's going to do a really good job. It's going to do about 80% of the job you need to do. And it's going to put a lot of those things in there. Now, that's only the main content piece. The rest of your HTML is not considered, but at least you know now what you need in your main content piece. Do you need testimonials? Yes or no? Do you need ratings? Yes or no? Do you need information? Yes or no? Do you need an image gallery or breadcrumbs or a table of contents or a FAQ? It's different per niche. Adding them when you don't need them will hurt you. I'll repeat that. Adding HTML widgets that you don't need will hurt you. So that's another crazy thing. You're like, Josh, wow, you're blowing my mind again. People think that you need to have an FAQ on a quality page, and that's what makes it a quality page. You need a table of contents, you need breadcrumbs. Sorry, wrong. That's just another case of, I have to admit it, and I'm equally guilty of an SEO of 30 years of us being lazy and being like, I know what the page types are. There's 5 page types. There's an informational page type, and there's an e-commerce page type. There's a local page type. No, those are abstractions we made to make it easy for ourselves. That's not actually how SEO works. Of course, Google doesn't work that way. They don't have 5 things like, well, there's an e-commerce. That's not how it works for Google. The web is wilder and wackier than that. And there's all kinds of blended pages. They're like half e-commerce, half affiliate, like we call it that way. Google's like, we are looking at the genotype, we're looking at the genetics, we're looking at the actual code underlying it, the document object model, and we are vectorizing that model, and because that is going to determine exactly how a page looks. And so, if all your competitors are using Elementor and it's got Elementor crap all over the place, done the way Elementor does it, then yes, you will get a huge boost by using Elementor. And you will have a huge minus not using Elementor. But that's not the top 10, it's the top 1,000 you need to look at. Statistically, maybe 600 of them behind the scenes are using it, but the top 10 don't have it for some reason, or only one of them does, because they have really good other factors. Because again, SEO isn't fair, as I said, right? Maybe they have a 10,000 page website, and that's just outweighing everything because they have so many good pages. Maybe they have such good quality or whatever it is. There's many, many other factors. And Google just decides to put other pages up there just to try them. Like I said, they're like, you're new and fresh. You look like you have maybe an answer to the question, but you're not doing it like anybody else here. You go in front of the stage. You go off the stage. And they'll try that. And that could be the one you eyeball and be like, oh, I'm going to eyeball it and know what I need for SEO because I'm psychic. I'm sorry, you're not psychic. That's not how it works. It's way too hard now. You can't eyeball the text and the HTML. You can't eyeball the text either. I showed you hundreds of entities, hundreds of them you need in a certain frequency. Only a computer could do that counting, do that math. Or you could take a year to make a page. You can't take a year to make a page, right? So sorry, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't, right? Not for SEO in 99% of niches, right? You could be in the 1%, but probably not. And you're not going to be there for long either. People building properly are going to beat you eventually, right? So that's a great thing. But so there's the good news. The challenge is that all this is a ranking factor, and you might not have known. The good news is, well, now you know. There you go. Congratulations. I told you I'd be giving you secrets that nobody knew for OnPage. And the good news is that my AI does it, right? It does it all for you auto-magically, which is fantastic. And then it adds up all these entities and gives them a total score. And that's how it's going to use these things. You see some of it give you a minus. Some of them are not so good. Some of them are very good. And it will add all these up for you. So that's fantastic. Okay, so looks like this is done here. It is. And there you go. The article, I also built the article, so here it is. And so the rest of the course is about how to generate the article. I'll go back one step and I'll show you how to do that and how to get these 4 scores into the green. But before I do that, does anybody have any questions before I go on and do that? Does anyone have any questions in the chat? Does anyone have any questions on the YouTube? You guys let me know if you have any questions on the YouTube. Doesn't look like there's many people watching right now. All right. And if you have questions later on, please, by all means, ask them in the description below. Or, by all means, email me at joshpaczynski@gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer your questions for you. Okay, so that's step number 2. So we've done step number 1, which is the most important step. We've done step number 2, which is also highly, highly important, getting you huge ranking factors way faster and easier than other people have, which is fantastic. Now let's talk about how to build the article. So when you're in reports, you can look here and see when it's done. You could build an article from here by clicking the plus button, or you can go to the article builder, select a report that's done, and build the article there. And how do you do that? Well, you click the generate article button, and you notice that the query interpretation, the BERT entities that I decided this is what you need to be the basis of the article, it grabbed that and stuck that here. You can retype this if you want. Here's the thing that a lot of SEO article generation doesn't let you do. It doesn't let you change the topic. It doesn't let you modify the topic. It doesn't tell you how to build the HTML. But we can do that here. You can type in whatever extra instructions you want. My AI does a really good job at analyzing tens of thousands of lines of code to come up with the correct entities that go here and the correct entities that go here. I highly recommend you leave this alone because it's going to streamline your SEO and be doing it at a solid 8.5 out of 10 every time. The article is going to be a solid 8.5 out of 10 every time. If you modify this, results will vary, right? You might make it better, you might make it worse. You really got to know how to talk to it, but you can if you want. But here's another thing. People are like, Josh, it always writes the same kind of article. All these AI writers write the same kind of article. I can't vary it. I can't add in my own product stuff. Well, now you can. You would use what's called a custom knowledge base. You import a file. And what is a custom knowledge base? A custom knowledge base is a structured .txt file. It could be anything .txt. And it basically gives clear and comprehensive writing instructions. It's a writing brief. It's the exact same writing brief you would use for your writers in Upwork that you can now fire and just use SEO Copilot and save yourself hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month. Or if you're one of those people overseas who are doing the writing, do it with SEO Copilot. You could take on 10 times the customers and make 10 times the money by using SEO Copilot and going faster and better. But here's the good thing. You can also include proprietary information. So it looks like this, right? And so these are not separate files. This is all one file. Sorry, it's just the way the rendering looks. This is all one file. But you'd say use this author profile, and you give it an author name, and so now it has an author name. And it uses this bio, uses her Twitter handle. You could also put a link to it here, it would use that. Then you say, write about this exact product. And so this was for CBD oil for cats. And I said, I want you to write about the product Ultra Pet TM, oil for cats. And so it did perfectly. It started with a CBD oil for cats, and then it said Ultra Pet. And it used this price, it used these 4 stars. And I know I needed this because I needed that, I saw that I needed it in the, excuse me, I saw I needed it in the page, in the HTML widgets. So I knew I needed these kinds of things. It talks about the key points to cover. So you get your actual sales value propositions you want to get in there. And I said, use these testimonials, because I knew I needed testimonials, with these actual ratings. And I could even put the link in here to where these testimonials are from. One pro tip, make sure you use real testimonials. It's actually illegal to have AI generate fake testimonials for you. My AI will put in placeholders. You need to replace them. So you're responsible for whatever content you put on your site. Ultimately, I can't be responsible for that. But I'm telling you right now, my AI might put in testimonials if it looks like it's called for. You need, ranking wise, you'll rank fine with fake testimonials. Legally, I'm not a lawyer, can't give legal advice, but I believe the FTC has made that illegal. And I don't think the FTC has been completely fired yet. So as long as they still exist, that's illegal to do. So make sure you use real testimonials. And I would give a link to where you got them online somewhere. And you can put those in there. So all of this would be in your ckb.txt or your whatever.txt. And you would give that to the AI that's writing it. And it'll use it. And it will use it to the degree that the topic uses it. And it will use it to the degree that the page type needs those kinds of information, which I'll show you it did perfectly in a second. Then you would say URL, title, meta description. You would say go. And it's just saying, here's what CP was talking about of all the stuff you need to do to fix it. You don't want to save this. Just in case you were having a conversation with CP that matters. CP is our co-pilot. It will tell you how to use this entire system, including how to get these in the green, what all these buttons or what everything's doing there, how to use the system, all the important parts using the system anyway, and a lot about how to do SEO, and a lot of SEO help there as well. So that's what you get with SEO Copilot, and that's where we're going as a copilot that will help you do SEO. Okay, however, let's go to the article that we actually generated here before. which was this one here. And you see I've already got scores for it. Boom. And here's what it built. Remember, we had these categories at the top for that particular one. We have a featured image that needs to be put in there. So it's got a placeholder for you that says, hey, you need an image in here because all your competitors had one. And then it has the advantages, the statistics, risks and considerations, top tips for successful ratings. Remember, it has the 2025 year company the placeholder you need to fill out. And it also has the social media stuff you need to fill in. So it puts in the placeholders you need to put in and fill out to make sure you have the right, some of the right on-page ranking factors. And some of the on-page ranking factors, like this and this and this and this, are different per niche. Some niches you need them, some niches you don't. So that's great. Your AI is doing it all for you. Now, let me just rerun the scores here. While those scores are rerunning, let me also show you here, look at this. We also generated all of the other stuff here you need. The URL, which it thinks is fairly spammy for some reason. The staking crypto DBX, the title, the meta description, the H1, and the body content. And so this is the SEO tab is where the SEO work gets done. So this is very important. We give you a lot of granular control over this. Also, we can tell whether you've used the entities enough. Look, we've missed a word. And we also tell you which entities you should be talking about the most, the main entities you should be talking about the most here as well. Okay, so I can fix this easily. Put a dash there, rerun this. This should be fine, I think. Oh no, never mind. Staking crypto, DBX crypto. That's why it's complaining, because we have the entity twice in here. But that's fine. Staking DBX crypto is probably what we want to do. And we probably want to remove an extra one in here too, probably. That would probably be a good idea. I don't know. We could do more. The average here, the idea is you want to be below the average, whatever the average is. At least you want to be 0 for this one, and you want to be probably 0 for this one. For the title, we can go a little bit higher. So that's probably fine. And the body is lower than the competitors. They have an average score of 58%. So as long as we're lower than them, and their H1 is average 70%. Okay, so now, well, I'll get to that in a second. So now let's talk about these big 4 scores here and how we get them in the green. So like I said, the AI is doing a brilliant job in writing this content and giving you placeholders for stuff that you need to manipulate and modify. It does 90% of the SEO for you, 90% well, 90% of the time. You just need to do the little bit of last final touches. And this is a common thing that happens. Now, the article, oops, that's not the button I wanted to hit. My high quality article writer HQA is in version 2.1 beta. We will be upgrading this to get all the scores in the green or be even better in the future. But right now, it just takes a little bit of fine tuning for you to get it where you want it. And the fine tuning to get all the scores in the green. You definitely want all the scores in the green. How you know you have a high quality content and therefore you're safe to generate content so quickly is because you have it all in the green. So let me show you how that works. Before I do that though, it's very easy to do. It's super, super simple to get all these scores in the green. And that's the last thing we'll go through today, and then I'll answer questions and give out the gifts and the coupons. However, before I do that, let me quickly go through and explain to you what all these SEO scores mean, what is more important in what order, and I'll do that. Okay, so the first one that's the most important that you definitely don't want in the red or being very far out of this range is the semantic score. This is the semantic score. This is the keyword density, if you will, range. That's the old way of thinking it, but it's like the keyword density range where you don't want to be under 68 and you don't want to be over 78. You can be, pro tip, you can be a little bit of a secret. You can be 1 or 2 points over 78 and you'll still correlate with #1 rankings fine, but you don't want to be under. So this article is not going to rank very well. It has I shouldn't say that. It has a huge boat anchor on it because it has a score lower than the threshold. Remember, I just said you don't want to be under the threshold. The next one is average predictability length. It is a threshold as well. You want to be at 4.1 to 4.13 and less. What does it stand for? It is the average, that number 4.1 is the average number of words you're allowed to have in a row per sentence that are duplicated or business basic or boring writing or AI generated, because all those things are kind of overlapping. AI duplicates content, it uses business basic writing. You need to be at 4.1 average token pieces or less. It's not actually words, it's pieces of words, token pieces. So for example, this would be a token, 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 this would be another token. So basically you're allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, you're allowed that many tokens in a row per sentence that are not boring, obvious, cliched writing. And that's the score that predicts all of this, and it very highly correlates to rankings, right? So people ask, does Google detect AI content? The answer is yes, they do. However, they only care about low quality. Sorry, that was my protein shaker there. They only care about low quality AI content. If you're building high quality AI content, meaning you have all these scores in the green, you're going to rank fine. The next scores that are very important are all the spam scores. All these spam scores here need to be in the green or at least under the average. So you should usually have 0, 0, 0 for those. And then your H1, this is where you're stuffing in. The more there's the Faustian bargain here in SEO. In SEO, to stuff in SEO keywords, it needs to get a little spammier. But we need to stuff in SEO keywords to rank. So you're chasing those numbers. You're stuffing in SEO keywords, the spam goes up. You stuff in more SEO keywords, one of those semantic entities, the spam goes up. So you need to hit the right ratio for both is what you need to do. And my spam score helps you do that. And how much you're allowed to put in spammy keywords depends entirely on how much your competitors have done so. So you don't need to go count anything. You got a percentage here, right? You don't need to go look at the competitor pages. My AI has already done that. What you need to do is make sure you're saying enough of the right entities in the right ratio. And here's all the entities here. There's a ton of entities. See all of them? There are hundreds of them. These are all keywords that you're going to need to say in some frequency, right? Now, I wouldn't necessarily care about anyone's used down here, but market cap I'd care about. Step probably I'd care about. Crypto I'd care about. It doesn't say crypto. So to fix that, maximizing crypto rewards. There, I've said crypto now. So that'll be fixed. And so the key is, so ignore this percentage here, really, that this doesn't matter. What matters is the percentage that your competitors have here for 75% for H1 and 58% for the body. That means that's how much they're stuffing in keywords. Look how much partial match keywords are getting stuffed in their headings, right? Now we've used crypto, that's fixed. And so that's a very important score. You do not want to be in the red there because that means you've gone over optimization. Google has a ton of spam algorithms. I can prove that too if you want. Google has a ton of over optimization algorithms. You don't want to be over. And finally, the HEAT score, the helpfulness, expertise, experience, authority, and trust. It's asking the AI questions like this, where have you provided an insightful analysis? Is it interesting? Is it high quality content? Does it provide substantial value? Are you If someone researched the site producing the content, would they come away with an impression that is well trusted or widely recognized and an authority on its topic based on how you talked about it? This is not just an off-page signal, as many people believe. It's also an on-page signal. So you want this in the green as well. Now, this is barely in the green. That number should actually be over 80. Pro tip, this should be over 80. And it's low because we have all these 70s. It's 7 out of 10. And between you and me, a 7 out of 10 is barely a pass. That's like a D. I thought that was like a letter grade. That'd be a D. So it's barely passing when it comes to being high quality enough. So that tells me a little secret. That tells me I can add in more content. I'm also low on content. That's why this is low. I can also add in content to make it even more helpful. So that's what the scores mean. And that was the little secret of what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do to get this score up in the range I want it and this score up in the range I want it is I'm going to use the plus score button. I can also ask CP, or how do I do it? It's telling you here, use the up score button. Adjust these score buttons. This will bring all the scores up. This will bring all the scores up. This will bring all the scores down. So what we want to do, and this is the common situation people usually find themselves in. They usually find that this is too low and this is a little high. Is usually where they find themselves. And sometimes the spam score is out of whack. Not often though anymore. Our AI is pretty good at doing it. So these are the only two scores usually you need to fix. And it's kind of to taste, right? You can decide if you want to be weak and only have a 68 score. And you can decide if you want to be aggressive, have a 78 score or higher for your semantic score. And if you want to have a longer article or not. That's kind of up to you, right? My AI does a pretty good job of it, but you really should have the last say. So this is kind of designed this way on purpose. But it's super easy to fix. Let me show you how. To fix this, the low semantic score and the high average predictability, what we need to do is we need to use what I call the Marvel movie magic method of building muscles. The 5 M's, the Marvel movie magic method of building muscles. And how do they do that? Well, you know, like Hugh Jackman or Chris Hemsworth, and these guys are getting just jacked. There's a certain way of doing that. First, they put them on testosterone injections. Sorry, it's a little secret, but that has nothing to do with this. But then the next thing they do, which is analogous to the metaphor, is they start eating 6,000 calories a day, and they start building muscle from the top down. They start working on all these show muscles, and they end up with the legs. And then when it's time to cut the weight, they start going on a reduced diet and get dehydrated, so they look extra cut. And they start taking the muscle off from the bottom of the legs up to the top. So that's the exact same method we need to take. What we need to do to get all the scores higher so we can trim them down to be in the green where we want them, we need to go to the first content and we need to add more. So I'll add this. Oops, I don't want to do that. Wrong button. Boom. I don't like that. You can go Control Z, get back. I'm going to add this. I don't like this. I'm going to add this. Okay, I don't like, okay, so I've done this 3 times. It doesn't really seem to increase it very much. Then again, I don't need to really increase it that much. So I'm going to say fine, replace, and I'm just actually going to manually fix this. It'll be faster. If it had a bunch of these asterisks in here, because this is markdown text, if I had a bunch of asterisks in here, I could paste it into CP and say, please fix the markdown. It would do that too. I could also do this and come down here and say, please add to this text giving 30-year tips from seasoned financial experts. So that when walking away, anyone says this is the best, most useful article on the topic they have ever read. And CP also is aware of the entities. And so CP, why you want to get CP to do this if possible, is because it's going to add a bunch of the entities in for you. So then our co-pilot says, no problem. So the white hat, see, it's got a white hat. And it's going to write for you. Boom. Okay, so now it's got this. And it's going to give a bunch of early suggestions there. Boom. Take this, paste this in here, boom. And then you can do this TLDR here are the top tips to get you started. Boom, there we go. Now it has all that much more information. This featured image, definitely, we probably want to have this higher up. And then go to the deets. So for people who want more detailed stuff, we can go there. Okay, so I'm gonna take this to go here like this, Control X that. No, fine. Featured image should be higher. I'd put the featured image up here, that's fine. Or maybe in between these. For more detailed information, just read on. Boom, okay. There we go, save it. Now go up to here, rerun this. Boom, so we jumped up quite a bit, boom. That's gonna change as well. This should change as well. Might change a little bit. Yeah, this went up, that's what's gonna happen. This should go up as well. Okay, now we got what is DBX. Now we can upscore, see how it got more helpful? Let's upscore this. Okay, replace, it's gonna add in a little bit more. Okay, so now we're gonna start beefing this up. We're gonna say acquire DBX tokens plus. Replace, and then we're gonna bold this. Then we're gonna select a staking platform, Control C. Actually, I'm gonna go Control C with this. I'm gonna highlight this and say upscore. So replace, there we go. Boom. Now we're adding in the juice here. Now we're adding in the keywords. Boom. Up that, boom. And then put the thing back, transfer your tokens, and then initiate staking. I don't know anything about this, and I don't need to know anything about this. AI does, replace. Boom. Initiate staking, boom. All right, let's save this, let's run this. Boom, now we're in the green. So we're in the green. We could move forward with this. I want to see what how high this is. If this goes to 4.5, this is only 4.44. So quite frankly, boom, I'm done. That's it. That's all I need. I need to go down here now and replace this information with the real information. But in terms of getting the scores in the green, this is more than good enough. Let me just rerun this here to see if the spam went too high. Doesn't look like it. Looks like it got even better in terms of not being spammy. Oh, the body spam score went up. There we go. See, this brings all the scores up. Boom, boom. Okay. So now what do we want to do? All right. So this is a little high. I could bring this down a little bit. So I could go with this. This is only 0.3 higher than it needs to be. I could ignore this, but I don't like that this is in the red as well. So let me go down here and say, okay, let's actually increase this as well. So I'm going to increase it more so that I can bring both these down and get them in the green. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. This is important because add reasons. Okay, here's another thing. You can kind of prompt it here and say, okay, rewrite this, and maybe it'll listen to this. There we go. Boom. Now it added in more. Excellent. Participate in governance. Okay, boom. And you'll notice the AI is explaining it a bit more. Contribute to network security. Boom, boom, boom. And final, potential for price appreciation. Boom, boom. Adding content with SEO relevance. Boom, boom, boom. Save it. Let's go here. That's funny. Didn't seem to add a lot. Fine, let's add this. Risks and considerations. Let's rerun this. Let's save this. All right, let's go and rerun this. Okay. Okay, let's go here. And let's upscore this as well. Okay, let's do the same thing. In crypto, add tips here about this subtopic. The pro tips on the ins and outs of what to watch for here. And just tell it to add that little bit. Boom, replace, there we go. Boom. Okay, let's just do these last ones here. Liquidity risks. Boom. Try it again. Try one more time. Okay, fine. And say, make sure to XYZ add the top tips that users need to know here. And then boom. Boom, there we go. Now we have the useful, now we have much more useful information. Platform reliability. Let's try that again. Okay, make sure add the top tips reader will need to know here. You can hear my cat meowing. Replace, perfect, boom. And finally, regulatory risks. Make sure add the top tips a user needs to know here. Just do that, make it easier on myself. Boom and boom. Okay, boom. All right, let's save this. Let's go Control A, Control C. Let's rerun this. Okay, that's gone up. Stuffed in a lot of keywords here. Great. Okay, now, this is a bit high now from where I want it. I want to bring this down a little bit now, probably is what I want to do. Oh. I realized this made a mistake. Make sure to add the top tips here they need to know. And if this thing doesn't want to do it, fine. Then I take this and I go here, I go to here, please add to this para. Then we get CP to do it. Always another AI to help you. You'll notice the nesting of the elements are exactly how they should be made. Put that in one para. There we go, boom. Then we take this, boom, boom, and we go here, boom, there we go. So now we save it. We run this. That's much more like it. Okay, so this is what I was waiting for. What we need is for the score to be way over this number and to be over this number. Now we can do what I said from the beginning. We can go down here and we can descore it, start stripping out, making much better text, stripping this stuff out. Let's descore it from here, descore it from here, descore it from here, descore it from here. You can make those bold again if you want. Now let's go and descore this. I can also do it this way if I want. I can just select this. Downscore this, so it's better content, better written, not so SEO spammy, and down this, boom. Now I do it from the bottom up because the keywords at the top matter more. Rerun this, rerun this. Now we're at the top where we want to be. I could go down a little further, and there we go. That's fine. This low amount is perfectly fine. So that's perfectly fine there. That's how you fix those. I would leave that there. That's good. I would leave it alone. Now the last thing I want to do is look at the final SEO. The body seems to be a little higher than it says it should be. What I want to do here is do these. Here's some pro tips I've never shown anyone before, so pay close attention. What you want to do here is you want to make sure it's saved. You want to go here into the report. You want to go here and look here at the DBX price as a main entity, DBX price. Well, yeah, DBX price. Look at the difference between these numbers. DBX price, what is crypto staking? A step-by-step guide, great. So DBX price for the top 10 here is what I want to use. So the phrase DBX price, I'm going to use it 13 times. What is DBX staking? 9 times. So DBX price and DBX staking 13 and 9 times in total is what I'm going to be doing here. Okay, so let me then go to, I was working on this one, I think. I know I want to do DBX price 13 times. I want to do DBX staking 9 times. Really, those are the important ones. They're not used on page 1 very much, but that's fine. It's those frequencies I want. So let's look here, DBX. How many times are we saying DBX here? DBX will be counted up here for you alone. Crypto 12 times, we say DBX 24 times 5. How many times do we say DBX price, however? DBX price, we're not saying it at all. There's the problem. See, so that's a little bit of a gap that my AI might not be able to do, although I'm going to get it to do it in the next version. This is just a little something you might want to add to give it a little bit extra juice. Why do you think the body is several instances of the potentially spammy of artificial keywords, such as staking DBX, and DBX is a cutting edge digital currency. Okay, let's look at DBX and see how good the staking DBX. Staking DBX is said here in the breadcrumbs. Yeah, DBX is a cutting edge digital currency. It's complaining I'm saying DBX too many times, but ultimately, if you want to check that, I'm saying DBX, like it says here, Oh, 31 times I'm using it. And if we look back here, how many times I'm allowed to use in the absolute frequency for the top 10 is 40. So I'm fine. My AI is just trying to be cautious and conservative and trying to protect you, but this is fine. What's not fine is I don't say DBX enough. So I'm going to do understanding DBX price. So I'm saying it once there. And the virtues of the price of DBX. There, now I've said it twice. Price of DBX and DBX price is the same. Where else is DBX said here? Wow, we're not mentioning it in any of these areas here. Investing in DBX. The more time you have, I don't necessarily want to say it. I might want to pull the mentions around a little bit. So I'm going to say here, pay attention to the price of DBX. So there, I've said price again. Consider the price of cryptocurrencies, including DBX. There we go. So price and DBX are very closely related here as well. About DBX price. I don't want to stuff it too much. The market can be volatile, and the price of DBX can vary over time. There we go. So I've said it again 4 times. I need to say it 13 times in total, I believe. 13 times to match the competitors. I don't need to match the competitors. Okay, participate in forums and discussions. Focusing on price and costs for relative cryptos, including DBX. So now I said cost is synonym of price, close enough. With the correct, with an advantageous DBX price. And this is very rare. By the way, guys, usually my AI puts this in here a lot, and I only have to add in like 1 or 2. I find it very funny that DBX price wasn't mentioned. Another pro tip of what I could have done is when I was generating the article, I could have actually, and probably should have looked at this and said, make sure you mention DBX price and mention DBX price, make sure you mention what is staking, and make sure you're talking about a step-by-step guide and what is crypto staking. I could have said, make sure you use these phrases at the end when I generate the article, and it would have came out a lot better. I wouldn't have to do all this jumping on ahead of a pin. But it's very easy to add. This is ye olde SEO 101. Anyway, so that answers it. That answers the questions, guys. How you do the on page for it. Once this page is done, and I've said DBX price here a fair amount of times, I could probably run with it. Yes, the body spam score is complaining a bit at 65%, but I checked the numbers and I'm low. I'm actually low. It just doesn't like the wording of, it doesn't like the breadcrumb here. To tell you the truth, it doesn't like this, and doesn't like this, it doesn't like this. It doesn't like this so close together. That's what my spam AI is triggering off of. And it's true. It is absolutely true. My spam AI does a great job of checking about 1 million things at once, not the least of which is that you're not doing ye olde stuffed SEO sentences. Kind of close to what I was doing there, right? You don't want to say, consider a sentence like this. You don't want the sentence to be like, if you're trying to rank for red apples, the sentence being like, at Josh's Red Apples, we have the finest red apples. You can get red apples at the red apples price of red apples, red apples. That's kind of a joke, but you get the idea that we used to just stuff the keywords in there even with less care and attention. But we can't do that anymore. So it's good that my AI has done most of the work for you. And like I said, it's very surprising that I had to put that in so many times. Usually it's in there like 4 or 5 times, and you maybe have to add it 2 or 3 times. So that was a great example of just, okay, fine, do that. And then also another pro tip, just tell it at the end of the topic like this. This is what you do. You go to the topic, you say, okay, when you're generating the article, out of the way. When you're generating the article, you go, okay, you check here in the reports. You say, all right, I want to say DBX price, and I want to say what is staking and step-by-step guide. Okay. And then you go, okay, at the back here, make sure to mention these phrases. DBX price. What is DBX staking? And step-by-step guide. There you go. Now it's going to say all those things for you, a fair amount. The problem with doing this is it might say it a lot, and you're going to have to strip it out. But you can do that with the downscore button. It's going to redo the downscore button, makes good writing, and gets rid of spammy SEO writing. So that's the yin and yang of it. The spammy crap SEO writing versus the good writing. It sounds like a magazine that they don't mention the thing again and again and again. I could have easily put it here, and that would have worked as well. All right, guys. So thanks for listening. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for being here this long. For Carlos, for Jorge, and Villamantis here, guys, I have... okay, so first off, any SEO questions you guys have. Now we're going to do the question period. You guys in here ask any questions that you might have. I'll answer them. Make sure it's private. But also, if you want to wait for the Ask Me Anything, I'm going to turn off the broadcast in a second and give people in the Zoom call a chance to do that. However, before that, and if you're watching on YouTube, if there's anybody there, usually I have like 8 people watching on YouTube. Not sure, I don't have anyone now, but if there's anyone watching on YouTube, ask questions to the right-hand side live, and I will answer them within the few minutes I have remaining. However, so the gifts and the coupons. So here's what I got, guys. I've got coupons for both SEO Copilot up to 100% off, and I have coupons for SEO University. For years, SEO University was $500 a month. I can get you in for the low price of $44 a month, which is access, tier 1 access. There's 3 tiers. That's level 1 access to our community and our Discord chat, which gives you access to all of our experiments, all of our knowledge base, and a very helpful community and a very friendly community of SEOs who we don't chat on there and waste your time all day, but we do have answers to every single SEO question that you have ever asked. We do know the answer. So let me give you, if you want to add, I'll do it here first. For these guys here, email me for access, use coupon code, this coupon code for up to 100% off SEO CP and low cost access to, or low cost access to SEOU. There we go. So let me put my email address, bachynski@gmail.com. There we go. So this is for you guys first. And so ask me, you guys have any questions at all? Let me check the YouTube, see if you guys have any questions. Let me see here. There are some people watching. Got any questions, guys? I know this is about 20 seconds out of date. What questions do you guys have? Go ahead and ask me, my friends. Questions at all? All right, so thanks very much for listening and watching. I'll put this here also for the YouTube now, so you guys had the, oh, here's questions. East Hills Casuals says, hello, Josh, great live. How effective is Copilot? I'm glad you asked, East Hills Casuals. SEO Copilot is highly, highly effective. We have publicly published our ranking effects. On average, our users get a 9-spot boost on average across the board. Some users rank as fast as a week. I've ranked as fast as a week. Let me show you. So this was all done with SEO Copilot. Here's SEO Copilot in Perplexity. Here's SEO Copilot in Google. Here's SEO Copilot in the AI overview. Here is another SEO Copilot mini site that's getting rankings. Here's the difference between our positive ranking results after a survey and our negative ranking results. Far more positive than negative. Here is from nowhere to position 11 in a day, 1 day. From nowhere to position 11 in 1 day using SEO Copilot. Here's SEO Copilot, SEO University. And I can show you all these live as well. Here's local rankings as well with SEO Copilot. Here's another SEO Copilot. Here's more positive ranking results. Here's another SEO Copilot. Here's a major SEO Copilot. This shows you a really good example. This shows you a really good example of what it looks like when they're trying you out and they're not sure. They're putting you in front of the stage and you're not sure. And then they get a solid orange line of ranking and they're sure that that is they're sure that you give good answers and they're going to try your other pages more. This is exactly how it should look. This is exactly what you want to see. And this is exactly what you can do if you use SEO Copilot and join Underground SEO University and or already have all the other SEO knowledge that you need. So I'm glad you asked that, my friend. Demi Jones says, this HTML widgets, you need to do this manually, right? The AI writer doesn't do that, right? Nope. The AI writer, as you saw, will go in and put in the HTML widgets, placeholders anyway, for some of them, and then we'll use the rest, depending on how appropriate it is to use for the topic. So, and how it's a blend between the topic, what it says in the topic, the instructions, what it said in HTML widgets, and finally, what you told it to do in the custom knowledge base. It will use a blend of all those things. All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for listening and watching. Carlos says, thank you. You're welcome, Carlos. Now I'm going to turn off and give you guys an SEO Ask Me Anything. So guys, stay on the Zoom call. I'll give you an Ask Me Anything. And also I will do the raffle to see who wins the free SEO audit and SEO power meeting, 20 minutes with me of how to do SEO. We've got that coming. And so if you guys who are listening on the YouTubes and you're like, hey, I want to get access to that, go to SEOCopilotai.com, sign up for the training, and you'll be in the Zoom and you'll be eligible to get access to these extra perks as well. So on YouTube, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being there. You guys stay put. We will get